Time to shine today, podcast squad, varsity squad. It's Scott Ferguson. And, I do a lot of interviews with coaches to have level up your mindset, the coaches that deal with depression, business owners that are looking to move some merch through the people that are listening in. But now I got a guy that he will help you level up your podcasting. So I'm telling you right now, there is like a billion blogs out there, but there's only like literally 1 million podcasts. Only 1 million. Okay, people. So like the odds of you getting heard and getting noticed are a hell of a lot better podcasting. And that's why I bringing on Coach Chris here, that is going to blow your mind with regards to podcasting and how to level up your podcast, how to get started. I'd love you to go to his Facebook page, The Expert Coach Chris, like not now, don't even think about it now, but go to the Facebook page and watch his video that was posted on August 17th on 3 ways to generate leads on your podcast. And it's just fantastic, blew my mind. And here I am with over 300,000 downloads in 7 months, and I'm ready. I have my opening up my notepad and get ready to take some notes from the great Coach Chris. Christopher Hines is the host of the Personal Branding Playbook and podcast expert. As a creator of the Podcast to Profit system, Chris has helped multiple businesses generate premium leads from their podcasts. And that's one thing to start a podcast, but it's a big thing, which I tell my clients to modernize that puppy, get it going, level it up. So Chris, welcome to the Time to Shine Today podcast. I want you to introduce yourself, but first, what's your favorite color and why?
Oh, that's a tough question. Honestly, black, because it's just simple, man. That's just who I am. If you watch any of my videos, I'm very calm. It's just relaxed. Black just kind of fits the brand.
Love it. I love it, man. I love it. And so thank you for coming on, brother. I really appreciate you making the time, because I know you're pretty selective on who you come on to and talk to. So I really, really appreciate it. A lot of the listeners out there are very lucky to have you every day, bro.
Man, thank you for having me. 300,000 downloads in 7 months. Yeah, that is amazing. Yeah. That's great. I like that. Great job, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Especially coming from you. That's amazing. So Chris, what tell us a little bit about your background and where you kind of got started into, the podcast movement really isn't that old, So like I said, there's only like barely a million, podcasts. And out of those, probably you might agree, only maybe 15, 20% are active podcasts, right? So that are going on daily episodes or even weekly episodes. So what did you do before you really started the Podcast to Profit system?
It's funny. The name Coach Chris actually comes from me being a basketball coach.
Really?
So awesome, after college, I was a blogger. I was still playing professionally in certain spaces. Mm-hmm. I was coaching on the side, and I was doing personal training one-on-one. And I started my basketball podcast. So I've kind of started off in that sports space.
Okay.
And that was before I got into the business side of podcasting.
Okay.
So I learned how to get sponsors. I work with Blog Talk Radio, so I learned how the hosting side works.
Yeah.
And you remember Blog Talk Radio?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's the old one.
Yes, absolutely.
And I learned a lot about podcasting there, man. I messed up so many episodes. Like, it was just so much bad content early on.
Right.
I started off in my bathroom. I have a picture of this. It's like a small little makeshift desk I kind of built myself with my dad. I didn't have a microphone, no equipment. I had like a 10-year-old MacBook, literally nothing when I started out, man. So it was kind of just starting from the dirt for me.
But the Blog Talk Radio, I love that. Yeah. And there's a lot of shows that launched off of that are big now on their own like personal platforms. Absolutely. I'm glad that you had said that. Now I know you are OG. When you say,
right,
Blog Talk Radio, that is legit OG. I mean, I remember listening to like eBay shows and how to eBay and, fitness shows and stuff like that. It's amazing. That's awesome. Awesome. So Chris, so you let in and what made you like kind of bring on the coaching part of podcasting? Obviously, it's in your blood with regards to basketball and fitness and stuff. But what was the aha moment that is like, dude, I'm going to help people level up their podcast?
Well, I just had a lot of people that kept asking me questions about it, because my very first time podcasting, I was invited on a radio show on Blog Talk Radio. So I was like in my closet, and it sounded like I was talking to myself. So people were like, wait, what are you doing in the closet? And I'm like, I was on a podcast. And
Right.
this is 7 years ago when
Right.
nobody was podcasting. So
Nobody.
I looked
Right.
like the crazy guy.
Right. Right.
And because I had been doing it so long, people immediately viewed me as the expert.
Right.
So I started getting questioned a lot, and it was like every day, man. So I'm like, wait, I need to start just a business with this.
Right.
You know, I was working at Nike, and I remember being on the sales floor, and I was like, man, I do not want to work this job anymore. And that was literally my 30th job in the span of a few years, about 6-7 years. And I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of working for other people. So
Sure.
I was like, okay, I'm going full in, diving headfirst in entrepreneurship, 100%. And that's when I started the coaching business of actual podcasting. But I had to really learn that there's a big difference. There are really two types of podcasts. You have entertainment shows and you have business shows.
Okay.
And yeah, there are different niches and markets, but there are really only two types, because the
Okay.
business show wants leads, the entertainment show wants to get sponsored.
Right.
So, and some shows can do both, but very few can.
Right.
But the most important thing is to understand there are two different types. And I had to learn that. That was tough in the beginning.
Right. You know, I vetted you out, Chris, or, coach, and I like that your approach to it is, and like we say here at Time to Shine Today with my clients and my listeners, we say inch by inch, it's a cinch. By the yard, it's hard. And like you put out right in that last video that I watched of you was like one listener a day.
Yes.
The multiplier of one, that's 365 a year, which doesn't seem like much, but how many of those 365 are going to share your show with others? So it could end up being 12,000 new listeners in 1 year just by sharing it by one show a day. And I appreciate you putting that out there, because I told people, I had built my list up first. That's the only reason that I had it. If I was started green, I would be taking that approach of one listener per day and say, hey, you mentioned making the rapport with people and saying, hey, would you mind if I send over a link and you gave it a listen? What do you think? I even did that with you when I reached out and I was like, man, I wonder if Coach will come on my show. I'm like, here's a link, dude, and you're like, yeah, dude, I'll come on. I'm like, yes, like victory, So no, I appreciate you putting that out there. So what do you think makes a great podcast?
Oh, that is a good question. I do these things for my prospects now, and this is completely free. When people send me their shows after they watch my videos, I do a whole podcast audit. So I want to go through and listen to your show, and it takes me a lot of my time, but I love podcasting, so I look at it as it's fun. It's fun for me. I listen to maybe 50 shows a week now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I like to go through and I look for very key elements. Number one is your audio presentation. That has to be on point. And I tell podcasters, you got to invest in a good microphone. Okay. It's okay to start with your phone or start with something simple, but you got to upgrade, man.
Sure.
Like the mic I'm using now, Audio-Technica, $100.
I was just going to say, you can, for a bill or less, you can get good sounding audio. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if you start off with one of the blue microphones, that's $50. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you start taking it seriously, spend that $100, because audio is the first thing I'm checking.
Oh yeah.
Number two is the presentation, like on the platform. So how are your episode titles? What does your logo look like? Do you have good show notes? And I can tell you this, the biggest issue podcasters have is they do not write show notes.
Oh yeah, that's a pet peeve of mine, man.
It's terrible when I listen to a show and I love it and I'm like, oh man, I want to share this and tag them on Instagram, but I can't. Oh man, it's the worst. Right. Or you talked about a product I might want to buy and you didn't put a link to it in the show, so I can't even buy from you.
Yes,
you're literally leaving money on the table.
Thank you. I say that, so I mean that's one thing I learned from affiliate marketing is that links are gold. So if I have a place to put a link, with my affiliate code in there, if you will, then that's, gold. And the people they leave it out of the show notes. And especially if I'm taking the time to interview Chris Hines, people, I'm going to make sure I make Chris look like a freaking rock star. When people go to, timetoshinetoday.com/podcast/Chris Hines, they're going to go and they're going to see knowledge nuggets that he's dropped today. They're going to see everything how to get in contact with Chris. If he has a product, They're going to find out how they can purchase the product. And of course, I want to be an affiliate for your product as well.
Yeah.
So that when I send people to you, Chris. So no, I appreciate that. So if I'm at a networking event, either in person, in South Florida here, we're allowed to, no matter what the media says, we're still allowed to go out, network, press some flesh. If I'm talking to someone, Chris, and they come up to me and start talking about, podcasting, what am I listening for that would make them a good referral, connection, or introduction to you, Coach?
Yeah. So for me, I love to work with the people who kind of have it figured out.
Okay.
And what I mean by it is they know what their business is. They know the problem they solve. That is very important, because even if you don't have some high ticket offer, if you understand the problem you solve and who you solve it for, we can work together. I can help you set up your offer. And then I explain to my prospects all the time that the podcast is going to help propel you forward. So if you have a great brand, if you have a really basic knowledge of your industry, if you're seen as an expert, if you're an author, if you've been coaching some people, setting up your own podcast platform is going to help you attract more of those people. It's going to help you sell more books. It's going to help you get on stage more.
Authority.
The podcast, and not only regular authority, but it's the way that I produce shows. It's like next level authority, because the style of content we create is meant to show you and your expertise. We don't just do interviews with celebrities or chase downloads.
Sure.
We want to make sure you're attracting, nurturing, and converting prospects. And that even means opportunities.
Wow. So attracting, nurturing. What was that third one, Chris? Coach? Converting, which is kind of the most important.
Yeah.
So Chris, what is your secret sauce, if you will, if you bring a podcaster in, or someone that's, that knows their business and the problems that they're going to solve, like you said, what is your secret sauce to helping them find their blind spot through podcasting?
So first of all, we start off with your message. We have to figure out, what is it that you want to tell people they haven't heard before? How are you going to communicate your solution to them?
Okay.
Because one of my favorite things to do with my clients is we actually help them create a script and record their own ad for their show.
Love it.
So
like
literally
a trailer in a sense?
Not necessarily a trailer, but a promo for every episode.
Oh, got it.
What this does is that's part of the nurturing for your prospects.
Okay.
So what we're doing is planting the seeds for you to bring those prospects into your world.
Love it.
Because the first time somebody listens to your show, they might not go and click the link. They might not buy. Right. Sure. So another strategy we use is we put the link for your lead magnet or your offer, your call booking link, as the first link in the description. We want it to be instantly accessible. Right. And even the script, the way we break that down for that ad, it is powerful. So my whole approach to it is I want to make sure you communicate your greatness to the audience every episode. A lot of podcast hosts don't do that because they are too busy trying to get Les Brown or Tony Robbins or Seth Godin on their shows, which isn't bad. But if your only motive is to get the next best guest every single time, you're not connecting with your audience. You're giving your audience away every week. You don't want to do that.
Yeah. You don't know what kind of diamond in the rough you're going to find with people that you're going to interview. I mean, I've had people that I didn't really never heard of. But next thing you know, I'm talking to Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins people, because of a person that no one's ever heard of.
Yes.
But because I was like, come on my show, I'd love to, have a conversation with you. He's like, Scott, that was awesome. It's so much fun. By the way, here's J-Rock, Gary Vaynerchuk's guy. Call him. Stuff like that. And it just happened. Just like you just said, don't go after the whale every time. Inch by inch, it's a cinch. Right? I mean, go out there and put out good content. And then like Coach Chris said, every episode needs to be communicated. What's the message in there? And get people hooked in. This is just gold, man. I got a freaking page of notes already. Hey, Chris, is there any good question? How do I say it? Is there any good question that you wish a new podcaster would ask you but never do?
Oh, yes. I get asked the same questions. How can I get sponsored? How many downloads do I need? What people really should be asking is, how many leads can I generate per month? Because that is how we calculate, right? I did another video on the Facebook page where I broke it down. If your offer is a $3,000 offer, for example, and you generate between, let's say you generate 20 leads in a month, and then your close rate is 25%, you got 5 new clients.
Wow.
At that $3,000,
It's
that's
15
15
G's.
grand.
Yeah, man.
Very
Yeah.
simple. So
Wow.
when we go after lead generation, this is why I preach to clients that download numbers don't really matter if you're trying to build your business,
Mhm.
because I've posted videos and they'll get 10 views and I still make a couple $1,000s.
Right.
When I post some episodes, some of my episodes will get 10 downloads in the first day.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, that's pretty low. But then I'll have 3 people reaching out to me on LinkedIn that same day.
Wow. That's
And then they
awesome.
actually boost the episode for me. So
Right.
the download numbers do not matter as much as leads do.
Right.
Nobody ever asks, and they're starting to now, little by little,
Right.
how many leads can I generate?
Wow.
That is the powerful question, because then
Love
we
it.
can calculate what's your closing rate, how much money can you make in a month?
Sure.
Like, is that easy to calculate it?
Right. And I love that you break it down like that. When a lot of people don't even know, like my whole brand, because you're on, I'm going to say this, like my whole brand of Time to Shine Today is built in an affiliate marketing. So I already knew that I'm going to give away free content. Like, Vaynerchuk will say, jab, 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 right hook. Right. So
Yep.
it's like, I bring on people like yourself and they're like, man, I want to hire a coach, so I put them with you and you have an affiliate program. And then, I get mine out of it in a sense. Like I have where you are light at years ahead of me, if you have created something, I never have. I'm like that Gordon Gekko from Wall Street. It's like I take people's information, in a day job. The people that know me know that I've been a real estate agent for 22 years. And, I didn't invent the house. I didn't build it. I sell it, and put happy people in it and sell it for people to make them happy. But what Chris has done is he's put together this program and he's invented something which makes it just fantastic. And he can work you through not only building the podcast, but also generate the leads. And that's just fantastic. And we'll get to his a link to his program in a little bit. But first, Chris, you familiar with Back to the Future, the movie?
Yeah, I don't remember it very well. I only
Okay.
watched it once, but
Okay.
I'm familiar. Yeah.
But there's a DeLorean in it, okay? And Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox, he gets in this DeLorean. He goes back 50 years into the past, right? Or 30 years in the past. And I want to know, if you got a DeLorean and you went back to the 22-year-old Chris, what kind of knowledge nuggets, that's what we call them here at Time to Shine Today, what kind of knowledge nuggets are you dropping on that 20 to 22-year-old Chris with the knowledge that you have right now about life, about anything?
Oh man, this is a really interesting question. At 22, I was struggling in community college. I hadn't yet transferred to a university. I was living in San Diego, California. I was living in my car at the time,
Hmm.
little small 2-door Honda. Uh, that was a very, very interesting time in my life, man. Very interesting. Honestly, I would just tell myself to keep going,
Love
because
it.
everything I wanted then, I have now, and is coming into my reality every single day. So I would just give myself even more confidence to keep going.
Just keep
I
pressing
had
forward.
just keep going. I used to have, I still do this now with my milestone system. I write down what I want on a card and I just keep that card with me. I've been doing that since I would sleep in my car and shower at
Wow.
LA Fitness. That's just been my lifestyle.
Wow. Wow. Look at him now. That's fantastic. So, Chris, how do you want your dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your death date. How do you want that dash remembered for you, Chris?
Really just helping people, man. I want people to remember me as a guy that helped them amplify their voice, because that's what podcasting is. I've tried to do so many other things. I actually love to do other things. Like, I have a talk today with another company about basketball podcasting again after years. I miss it so much.
Right.
But I love just podcasting originally. So what my purpose is to help other people use their voice to be heard, to
Love it.
get paid to be who they are. So as long as people remember me as the guy that helped them get paid to be who they are, to have their voice heard, to get their message out into the universe, I'm
Love
happy.
it. Love it. You know what? You're living legacy because you're living what your epitaph is going to say. I love that. So, take out the computer, electronics, cell phone, iPad, everything. What are 3 things Chris can't live without?
Ooh, I would say definitely fitness, like working out for
Sure.
me
All right.
is just,
If you're
it
watching
does
on
something to you
if you're
mentally.
watching on YouTube, people, he's put together pretty good. So I can see why you said that. So getting after it. All right.
Fitness is important to me. I would say reading too.
All
Like
right.
reading is one of those things, man. It's one of those habits I have every day. I have to read something.
Makes you a great leader, man. I mean,
Yeah,
not all readers are leaders, but all leaders are readers.
yeah.
Bottom line.
And, and I try to tell people, like, when I say reading, it doesn't have to be some boring book.
Right.
Like for me, I'm subscribed to like 15 different newsletters on podcasting.
Right.
Like
Right.
you don't have to read boring books. So fitness, reading, and for me, honestly, I'm not a big foodie, but I would say travel. I love to travel, man.
Love it.
Traveling is one of those things that's like traveling now. I get to travel to speak. This year has been a crazy year.
Yeah. 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 It's been
But
nuts.
man,
But yeah, chicken wings, dude. That's always my third, bro. I'm a snob when it comes to chicken wings. I'm telling you. I'm 270 pounds. I probably eat enough of those things, but I love them. That's always number 3. I got my girl, my dog, and my chicken wings. So those are my 3. But hey, Chris, what's your definition of a life well lived?
I think everyone really, I hate when people say, ask Gary Vee. They ask him this all the time. How do I find my passion?
Right.
The reality is you already know what your passion is. You just aren't listening.
Wow. That's
Your
strong.
passion is it's hitting you in the head every day consistently. You just don't listen to it. That intuition is speaking to you consistently. But
Wow.
oftentimes we ignore it because of responsibilities, or we're busy, or all these different things in life. But your passion is already within you. And I think the best way to live life is to listen to that passion,
Right.
and consistently go after it. And what I've learned, especially in the last 2 years, is that once you understand what your passion is and you consistently give energy to it, literally 2 hours a day,
Right.
the money is going to find you. Money is a
It's impossible
byproduct.
not to. Yeah.
Money is a byproduct of living in your passion. So
Yeah.
when people say you can't follow your passion, that's just them not understanding the deeper levels of it. Because
Wow.
when you find your passion and you follow it, money, you're going to be paid. Like I didn't know how I was going to make money podcasting. I just knew I'm supposed to podcast. And now people pay me good money to help them set up shows.
Yeah.
I've been an editor, a planner, a creator, just everything in the podcast world. I've been paid to do it. Like,
Yeah.
I will never forget the first day I got paid to talk about basketball. Like, just imagine getting paid to talk about your favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what podcasting is. So
It is.
find your purpose and live in that.
Yeah. I did the podcast because I have a radio show here in South Florida that I'm on, like a terrestrial radio station, right? And, I talk real estate, business, and lifestyle here in South Florida. And people are like, you have to have a podcast for Time to Shine Today. And once I did, it was like this launching point of my subscribers were like, thank you. We're sick and tired of the blogs and stuff coming in. We can listen. And I'm giving them value. Like, this is a free masterclass, people, of what you have with Coach Chris, And next thing you know, it was like, okay, well, people are like, we want to sponsor your show. I'm like, what's a sponsor? You know what I'm saying? So like, oh, we want to give you $275 a show to, put this out. So I'm thinking, yeah, I drop 5 shows a week. That's a living.
Right?
It's like, it's just, it's just like you said, money is a byproduct of living your passion. My passion is helping people. And then podcasting just gave me, like you said, kind of a platform. And next thing you know, people were reaching out saying, oh, I want to be on your show. And now I have people, I don't have to seek them out like I did you, Chris. All right. Like, people are coming to me now, so it's cool. But no, in all seriousness, that's great advice. Thank you so much. As we wind things down here, Coach, we got what we call the level up lightning round. Okay. And you and I could talk 15, 20 minutes on each one of these topics or questions. You got 5 seconds, no explanations. You can answer every one of them in 5 seconds. Trust me. All right. You ready to level up?
All right, let's do it.
Here we go. What's the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Create routines.
Oh, share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Meditation.
Really? Nice. Not what you're reading now, not the flavor of the month. If I'm in my doldrums, I'm just kind of lackadaisical, kind of moving through life. Fergie, read this book. What would it be?
Ask and It Is Given by Esther Hicks.
Boom. Love that. Great book. Chris, what is your most commonly used emoji?
The microphone.
My man. What? Awesome. So if you could be one age physically, not with the wisdom you have now, but physically for the rest of your life with the wisdom you have now, and still be able to continue to progress on the wisdom, what age would you be?
I would say 28. I'm 28 right now.
Okay.
It's perfect.
You're a puppy. I always say between 28 and 32. I'm almost 50. So dude, 28 to 32 is my jam. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay. So I think I already know the answer to this question, but a Hollywood star or a sports star?
Honestly, a Hollywood star,
Okay.
honestly.
Really? All right,
Yeah.
because you kind of lived that sports star kind of thing. All right. I
Yeah,
feel you. I feel you.
yeah, I
Okay.
would try Hollywood.
Love it. Favorite charity and or organization that you like to give your time and or money to?
Steve Harvey has a foundation for helping young Black men raised by single mothers.
Love it,
I
man.
plan on starting my own foundation the same way.
Thank you for saying that, man. That's fantastic. I was raised by a single mom, so awesome. Last question. It's kind of hard. You can actually elaborate on this one. What's the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s?
90s.
90s. All right. All right. It's such a transitional period, man. You have the grunge, you got the hip hop, you got everything kind of like rolling into the I'm a product of the 80s, and my jam's kind of the 80s with the big hair and all that stuff. But the 90s, I was coming in as an adult. 90s was a lot of fun. Hey, Chris, how can we find you, brother?
I always tell people the best way to reach me is to send me a DM. A message on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, the Coach Chris _. I answer everybody. If you have any questions on podcasting, I'll send you a couple free ebooks. No headache there. Or listen to the show, Personal Branding Playbook. I'm on season 6 now. It's been just a wonderful ride, man.
I'm going to put all of that in the show notes, people. Chris, leave us with one, if you don't mind, Chris, you've blown us away, but leave us with one last knowledge nugget that you would like us to take with us, internalize, and take action on.
Use at least 1 hour per day to create the life you desire.
1 hour per day. Love it. To create the life you desire, is that what you said, Chris? Love it.
1 hour per day. That's it.
Wow. That's awesome. Squad, you've just literally, if you're watching YouTube, I have like a page. I mean, the guy is legit. This is like, I was looking forward to this because I picked up, so many steps. He reminded us that there's 2 kinds of podcasts, really. There's entertainment and business. Kind of pick your niche. All right, people, make sure what's most important is have your audio on point. Invest $100 in a mic. Okay. You can probably even get away with $75-$80, but invest 100 bones on a mic. Seriously, get it done. And if you're serious about podcasting, get your presentation right. Chris reminded us, the titles, logo, show notes, make sure they're on point. Don't let them look crappy, because I'll tell you what, if I want to go back, like Coach said, if I'm listening to a podcast, I want to go find out about that person. I want to be able to click on it and the links all be in there. All right. Yes. He'll remind you that, know your business and the problem that you solve before you really start your podcasting. Podcasting will help propel you forward. It attracts, nurturing, and converting. That last one, I love that. Forgot it, but that's awesome. Converting. Every episode needs to be communicated. How many leads can you generate per month with your podcast? And that's where Chris's company will really help you level up. He'll get you from soup to nuts. But when you really are ready, if you built a podcast out, Chris will audit it. Get together with me. I might be able to make a personal introduction to Chris, help you audit it, maybe become a client of his, which would be a good idea if you're really looking to level up. He would remind his younger self to keep progressing. And if you're going to fail forward and learn along the way. He wants to be remembered as someone that gives you your voice, to amplify your voice. He's a total helper and go-giver, and listen to your passion and intuition. Money is a byproduct of living your passion, people. Coach Chris reminded us of that. Create your reality and make sure you implement 1 hour per day to create the life you want. Folks, Chris just dropped serious knowledge nuggets on us. He levels up his health. He levels up his wealth. He's hungry. He's humble. Thank you, Chris. We got to do this again, my friend. I really appreciate you coming on.
Man, thank you so much for having me. I've done a lot of interviews. This was one of the most fun, for sure.
Awesome. Appreciate you saying that, my friend. We'll chat soon.